Welcome. I've got my eyes on the road, as you can tell, but I had a pressing point to process, and I wanted to do it before I lost track of the thought. Hey, welcome to the broadcast. Welcome, everybody. Good to see you guys are on. I know a lot of you are knee-deep in the thick of things of your daily life and your daily routine. So I'm appreciative and glad that you're able to make it onto the broadcast. I know this was not scheduled. I know I didn't send out a message or a text or a post about it. This is a little bit sporadic for me. But I felt compelled in my spirit to come on and talk about this afternoon. Hopefully you're doing well. Hopefully all is well. Bless you, man. Mr. Lucky, good to see you. You know, I want to come on real quick. I was just thinking as I was having lunch and sitting and having lunch with my father. We were talking and just kind of going over some of the deals that we're doing, a lot of the real estate projects that we're invested in, and some of the newer projects that we're going to be doing. And topic of conversation came up, and in the midst of that topic of us talking about some of the deals we're doing, there was a more than ever a larger group of people that were at the restaurant that we normally frequent. And being in network marketing, I've learned that closed mouths don't get fed and lazy hands don't count no bread. Let me say that again. Being in network marketing, I have learned that closed mouths don't get fed and lazy hands don't count bread. But I asked several of the people that were there, as I saw the tag around their neck, where are you guys from? What conference is going on? And they began to shed light on what was taking place. They told me that they were attending a real estate investment conference that started on Wednesday and was going to be finished on Sunday, and anywhere between 800 to 1,000 students were attending to learn how to become investors of some sort in real estate. And they asked me very politely what it is that I do. I told them I'm a serial entrepreneur. We own several businesses. Of course, I always talk about our network marketing business. Told them we own a marketing and distribution company. I also told them that we own a real estate investment company as well. Speaking and training business that takes us all over the world. And I began to show some pictures of some of the real estate projects that we are partnered in completion right now. And one of the things that struck a chord with me was the fact that about 3 years ago, I wrote on my whiteboard in my home or in my office. I wrote on my whiteboard the several projects that we were going to be involved with from a business perspective. And I had my network marketing business on one leg. I had our real estate investment business on the second leg. The third business I had was a speaking and training company. The fourth business I had was our, I think it was the Wilkins kitchen business, if I'm not mistaken. And so 3 years later, I was looking at that board in my mind, and it was so incredible to know that what we had written on paper has come into fruition. And here's the lesson I learned. In my previous business, network marketing business that was, I was awakened to a harsh reality that I knew subconsciously, but did not grasp consciously. Meaning, it's like you know something, but you don't really know it. You know something, but you don't really know it. And built that business for 6 years, my wife and I, and several other people, of course, and built it into the tens of thousands of people that were a part of our team, spread all across the country, of course, and into multiple countries that we helped that company expand into. At its height, that business was generating an income of over $20,000 a week. And that was inside of 3.5 years. Inside of 3 years, we had built it to a point where it was generating a cash flow of about $20,000 in a week. And the majority of that production was coming from international markets: Australia, New Zealand, Thailand, and Japan. Why am I telling you this? I want to share with you my lesson learned. But the majority of that business was coming in internationally. We had, leaders that were part of the team running their own successful businesses, and it was very independent of us. They were running their own events, leading their own teams, doing leadership meetings. We were there as needed. A lot of my philosophy of leadership is to lead and get out of the way. Allow people to lead. Don't micromanage. So that's just my style of building. But there was nothing in my awareness that led me to believe that our income would plummet from where it was in 2013 into where it turned into 2015. There was nothing about that income that I thought, or nothing about that business that I thought, our income would fall drastically. And I was faced with the harsh reality when it came to this profession that I love, that I've dedicated my life to the last 13 years, that I didn't own that company. I did not own the parent company. I did not own that network marketing company. And because I didn't own it, there were meetings that were being held at a corporate level that I was not privy to. There was communication that was going on that I was not privy to. Compensation plan changes that took place that I was not aware of, that I didn't have a vote in. There were increases when it came to products that I had no vote in, no say-so on. There was volume, CV volume that was practically sliced in half. Nobody asked my opinion. Nobody asked my suggestion. And they didn't have to, because I didn't own the company. But I say all that to say this. My lesson learned. When I started to see our income dwindle and go in the opposite direction, after going through a mild phase of depression, to watch what you've built begin to crumble, people begin to disperse and leave, and you essentially are left holding the bag in which you will label loyalty. By the way, your loyalty should not lead to your poverty. Loyalty should not lead to poverty. Loyalty is not I'm starving and you are eating. That's not loyalty. That's called pimping. Whereas we're sitting at the same table, proverbial table, but you've got a plate full of food and I don't even have a bowl of soup. That's not loyalty. That's called pimping. But I digress. I'm not calling anybody a pimp. I'm not even attacking anybody. I'm talking about a philosophy. But anyway, at that moment, after coming through that mild depression, I said, I will never be in this position again. I will never put myself or my family in the position whereas my income is affected by the decision of somebody or several bodies within an entity of a company that I do not own, that I have no voice, that I have no influence. Nothing wrong with the structure. Matter of fact, it's the same structure on a job. It's the same structure in most careers. And it's the same structure in the network marketing profession. But I said, never again will I put and subject my wife, my daughter, myself, our family to the decisions of somebody else. And at that moment, ladies and gentlemen, that began the seed season of the vision that you see today all over the world. You know, some people, they've seen this vision of Project Build It for Your Last Name. Some people have tried to hijack it. Some have tried to demean it. Some have tried to ostracize it. Others have been inspired by it. Others have been inspired to the degree that they've created and come up with their own team names and brands and visions of their own, and there's nothing wrong with that. But ladies and gentlemen, that was birth. It was birthed from a place of pain. When you cannot find your purpose, you have to trace your pain. I'll say that again. When you cannot find your purpose, you have to trace your pain. But through that mild depression and through that declaration, I said I will never be in this position again, because prior to that, 2-3 years prior to that, I said I will never be broke again. I was on stage at a GoPro event in front of 5,000 people. I was asked to share for about 6 minutes. The title of my message is "You Are Good Enough." And as I was sharing the story, I told people I made a decision that I would never be broke again. And I wasn't. But what I didn't understand was that there's a difference between being broke and being broken. And although I wasn't broke, I was broken. And oftentimes I tell people, sometimes God will break your spirit just so that he can save your soul. Matter of fact, let me rephrase that. God will let people break your spirit just so that he can save your soul. And through this process, through this brief sojourn, I discovered quickly the importance and how imperative it was to create, not to compete, but to create multiple sources of income, or MSI, multiple streams of income. Because, and understand, listen to me clearly, multiple streams of income is different from multiple drizzles of distractions. Some people, they're trying this, they're trying that, they're dibbling in this, they're dibbling in that. Therefore, they become jacks of all trades and masters of none. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about being able to plant yourself in a particular field, because the only trees that grow are the ones that are planted. But upon making not just the decision, because listen to me, you make a decision to start, you make a commitment to finish. But after making the decision, I backed it up with a commitment. I said, never again. I'm going to make sure that this time I know how to go out and create volume. I know how to go out and prospect and present and do three-way calls. See, I know what it feels like to leave for weeks at a time and months at a time from your family. I know what it feels like to be in living rooms and dens, and to hell with all you people running around here lying to these folks, talking about you can build a 6 or 7 figure income from a computer. No, you cannot. You've got to get into your car, on a plane. You've got to get into some living rooms. You've got to get into some hotels. You've got to get face to face with people, and you've got to show the plan from a place of conviction. And I'm not talking about showing the compensation plan. I'm not even talking about giving the presentation plan. I'm talking about giving the plan for your vision. You have to lay out a vision for people. You have to tell them where you're going. You got to show them through not your words, but your actions, your deeds. They've got to feel you. And I told people where we were going. I told them where we were going because I know why I was going there. And ladies and gentlemen, I want this to be a lesson learned to you. You do not own, none of us own any one of these companies. At any time, changes can happen. Business can go through a cycle. Products can be shelved. You know, the owner could choose to do something else in a different direction, and they do not ever need to consult you if you're in network marketing. If they do, that's a blessing. If they don't, it's just the way it is, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not down on network marketing. I'm just up on leadership. As a matter of fact, I would rather be in a bad company with good leadership than to be in a good company with bad leadership, because everything rises and falls on leadership. So when something is going through the roof, something is rising, volume is rising, checks are rising, it's because of leadership. And when it's crumbling, it's because of leadership. But I said never, I mean never again will I allow our profession to break me. Never again would I allow the profession, this wonderful profession that I know changes lives. It changes lives. Forget the money only. Yes, we've got people that are earning six figures. Yes, we've got people that are earning multiple six figures in our organization. Yes, this is true. But what's even more real are the lives that are being impacted. I mean, people that are believing in themselves. I see husband and wives being able to work together in synergy, in unity. I've seen complete transformation in people. But even with that, I don't want to scare you. As a leader, I want to prepare you. The lesson learned: when you get that money, many of you are making more money in a month than you've ever even made in a year. When you get that money, make sure that you allow the money to work for you. Don't just put it in a savings account. Don't just get with a financial planner, but you need to have a plan for the money. Are you listening to me? You need to have a plan for the money. Don't just go buy Louis Vuitton. Don't just go buy, Prada, Gucci, Rolex. Don't just go buy nice cars and homes. Those things, should you have them? I believe you should. You deserve it. But listen to me. You need to know what to do with a dollar. If there's anything that I just cherish in terms of what I've been able to learn, is what to do with a dollar. If you don't know what to do with a dollar, you will not know what to do with 10. If you don't know what to do with 10, you will not know what to do with 100. You will not know what to do with 1,000. You certainly won't know what to do with 10,000. You may hurt somebody if you got 100,000 or even 1,000,000. But because of what we learned, and they say experience is the best teacher. Sometimes somebody else's experience is the best teacher. That's where mentorship comes in. Mentorship is wisdom without the wounds. It's wisdom without waiting. But today, doesn't matter what happens with our network marketing business. The income can completely go away tomorrow, and we're fine for the next 15, 20 years. Why? Because we built it for our last name. Why? Because that was the plan. No matter what happens. Now, do I plan on anything happening? Of course not. Things are rock solid. The income's coming in. Things are wonderful. When a lot of people laughed at us for joining and partnering with Total Life Changes and saying, the leadership in that company is ghetto, it's ratchet, it's had its season, it's had its time, who's drinking boo-boo tea. People made all types of, jokes, and they laughed even while we were over here. And they were, oh man, it's gonna crumble, it's gonna crash, man. It's gonna be the same thing, and blah 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 blah. Here's what I've learned. Some people report the news, and others, we go create it. We stayed focused. Were there moments of disappointment? Of course. Were there false starts? Of course. Did we have to, chart a different course within the business? Of course. Were there people that said they would be here 12 months, 18 months with us? Of course. That quit in 18. Yes, all of that happened. Were there people that blamed us and because they couldn't build it again, or they couldn't build to begin with because they, succumbed to attrition and apathy, and they pointed the finger at us? Of course. Were there people that lied on us, that tried to turn people against us on our team? Of course. Have there been fights and disputes with people cross line and up line and side? Of course. I was telling a buddy of mine yesterday. They were telling me, oh man, I'm just tired of corporate. I want to get back into network marketing. I said, why? They said, man, I'm just tired of the people. I said, here's the thing I love about network marketing: the people. The one thing I do not like about network marketing? Sometimes it's the people. But that comes with the territory. You cannot avoid or run away from people because your purpose is trapped within people. You accomplishing your purpose has to do with people. That's the bottom line. You're going to have to touch people. And the challenge with many of us, we don't want to touch nobody because we don't want to get our hands dirty. Lesson learned. So what's my message? It's very simple. When you get the money, and you will, don't just blow it. Don't just spend it on lifestyle stuff. Don't. Could I go buy a Bentley? Of course. But why not take that 40, 50 grand and put it into some more real estate projects like we do? That's what we are doing. Why? Because that's how you secure wealth. Wealth is in your name. Did you hear me? Wealth is in your name, not your first name. See, riches may be in your first name, but true wealth is in your last name. What's my message? In all that you do, wherever you go, whatever you're building, make sure you build it for your last name. That's all I have to say. God bless you. God bless your families. And God most certainly bless your dreams.